What's up everybody, Doug Lane here, Fastlane Car Care. Hey, we've got this 2015 King Ranch Super Duty in here. I'm getting ready to do this middle window, and a couple of things to think about is our seals on the outside are actually considerably smaller than the window. So we could, let me see if we can get some light in here. So we could go ahead and cut our pattern out on the outside. I don't know if you can see this. Here's our ceramic border, but here's the seal. So we'd have to do a lot of shifting and everything if we wanted this to look good when the slider opens. Here's a neat little trick that I know, and figured I would bring you guys along, show you what I'm gonna do. So as you can see, we got a clear release liner here, and it's been squeegeed off, so it should be mostly dry. If we wanted to, we can come back and, you know, really hit it with this. You know, it's not really a huge deal. We have two options. We could just go ahead and cut this, but this thing here is going to be in our way. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a Sharpie method, and we'll just hang this up here. So this is a Milwaukee marker. They tend to write on wet and oily surfaces better than a regular Sharpie. But we're just gonna come in here like this and draw that. And of course it's probably not gonna work super well because it is a little bit too wet. So we don't really need to do the bottom because the way I've lined up my edge, we just need to come over here on the side. Really the most critical part is going to be this top edge because you know, we got a ceramic border on either side. So now let's go ahead and take our liner, and so if you have a peel board, that'd work out awesome. If you have a peel board, that would work out great. You can throw your film on here, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but I just used the liner off of one of these side windows, one of these back side windows. And so we know that because our pattern is smaller than this liner, we can use this window as our peel board. Now some people don't like cutting on cars, and that's fine. You don't have to. As long as you have a nice fresh clean blade and are paying attention to how much pressure you're using, you won't have an issue. Let me back that up. You shouldn't have an issue. So I'm gonna carefully climb up here in the bed. I like to put my hose in here, that way it's not slapping around on the bedside. Okay. What we're gonna do, double check which side our release liner is on. Okay. Okay. So now apparently I left my other squeegee in there, but that's okay. So I'm just going to give this a quick little squeegee. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just mainly don't want any bubbles in there, so this is flat. So now what I've done is I've lined up my Sharpie mark with about the top of our new film. That way everything is good and covered. Now this might be the complicated part. Our solution might try to wipe off our Sharpie, so for now we're just gonna go right up to the Sharpie. Okay, and here's our mark right here. Squeegee this out a little bit better. Alright, so now we have plenty of space, so this doesn't have to be, you know, some precision operation where if you're, you know, a millimeter off, really your top edge on this particular deal is going to be the most important. And then I'm just going to cut on my outside edge here, on the outside of my Sharpie mark. But I know it's got a ceramic border over here, so I have plenty of space. Oh. Same deal here, I'm going to try to cut on roughly the outside of my line. Now we have the handle on this side, so, you know, be wary of that. Now our bottom doesn't really matter because that is where we have this border down here, ceramic, so we don't have to worry about it. If you wanted to, like right here, we'll just go ahead and clean this up. I might as well just round my corner just because I can. Even though in this particular one it's not gonna matter. Alright, there you go. So now the only thing we really have to remember is this side is here. So not really a big deal. Let's go prep our window. Not really a huge fan of climbing in and out of these things, but like every time I do a truck, I'm like, man, you know what? A plotter sure would be nice. I don't know. I always hear a lot of horror stories about plotters and about how they don't, you know, they're not working or whatever. The plotter was down and cost them all this film because they were messing everything up, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, man. Every time I do a truck, especially if they have rain guards on, I sit and think to myself, it'd be nice if I just had a machine to just cut out the pattern for me and then I didn't have to worry about the visors and all that stuff. But maybe that will come one day in the future. I need to do some research on it. So, okay, we do have a little edge right there that could screw us up. I didn't see that. I guess I should have stuck my finger down in there and felt for it earlier, but I think we will have enough. Okay, so now what we're going to do, this is the tricky part. Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of times it will take the part that you used, it will want to take the release liner off as well. This time it didn't. So we still got a release liner on. Now with this is probably pretty much a perfect square, so we probably don't have to worry too much about whether it's left or right or whatever. But a lot of times on these sliders, you will have like a cutout for your latch. If it's not a power slider, you'll have different cutouts or whatever for different things. So sometimes it definitely matters which is which. So try to get this in here without touching anything. Just go ahead and mist my window down again. I'm gonna set my bottom edge on the glass. Pull it down in there like that. Okay, so while it was a great idea, because of this little latch that I didn't see in there, it's going to cause us a little issue. Not a big issue, just a little issue. Basically, it just needs to come over more. So, not a huge deal. We will have to trim right there, but it's on the border. I'll show you guys here in a second. We're tucked plenty across the top. We got enough across the bottom. Good to go. Let's go ahead and hard pass now. Really extract this moisture. Okay, so, well, I guess I don't have my light in here. My big light. Jeez, where's my little light? Oh, here we go. All right, so here's our film. We're way past the border because we had to slide that over. Not a huge deal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run my tool across the top here, up in the seal, little foot. Now what we'll do, now, man, a couple of different things we can do. We could just trim around that, but we're gonna have a little bit of overhang there. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna come in here, because I don't know if you guys can see that, but we got, if this opens, I don't want there to be a light gap there. So we'll come in just a little bit. Now we're just gonna go straight as we can. Now, one thing you don't want to do is push super hard, because what will happen is you will scratch the ceramic. Even with the stainless blade, you will scratch the ceramic. That might not even have been hard enough. Nope, it was not. Let's see. Did we get here? We did. Okay. Bro. I'm going to use a carbon blade. Shouldn't do this because it will definitely scratch, but they are sharper. They hold their edge better. All right. Sheesh. There you go. When a quick tip takes way longer than what it should have. However, it doesn't matter. We're covered all the way around. All of our borders are overlapped. And that's really the important thing. This customer didn't want the back to be super dark, so we just put 50 over top of the factory tint, and then we've got 5 on the door windows, and then it'll have a strip as well. So there's a quick little tip. You can use a liner, cut it out on the inside. It's just a little bit easier to use. You know, the tint doesn't want to bend and fold the way a liner will, so you can grab an extra release liner off of whatever window that's bigger than the window you plan on cutting out and trace it. It works better if it's dry, but as you can see, it worked. A regular Sharpie doesn't work so great, but the Milwaukee markers work pretty well. And that's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.